Hey guys, so yeah, I just got dropped off on my bus. It's about 9:14 in the evening on this Thursday, a week before Thanksgiving, legitimately. But I wanted to come on here and give you my review of 240, the 240th shift/chapter of Metamorphosed to Malleability. It is subtitled Confirmations and Explanations. And I'm not going to go too much into detail or anything. I'll provide the link down below. But this one is more along the lines of Duncan and Briella basically going back and forth about Briella's meeting with the other Omega or the Alpha, whatever you want to call him, Gene. And basically Duncan kind of confirming everything that Gene had told her, if not more. And Briella basically, being still a little hesitant, possibly accepting the job and everything, even based on what Duncan had confirmed that Gene had told her, with a little bit more detail as well, basically stating that those that had taken on the position lately, I wouldn't say lately, but basically in the past 20 years or so, senior researcher, those that had taken on that position had basically got corrupted. They basically started to abuse their power, and it kind of put, Suri Genesis in a bad light. So overall, like I said, it's basically them confirming everything that Gene said. Duncan even saying, look, if you do take the opportunity, you do take the position, you're going to be in a better life than you were before, because Briella does make it perfectly clear, that she doesn't want to give up her life, that she's happy with what she's doing right now, happy being with Crystal and all that. And Duncan basically says, look, you're going to have that life still, if not better. And she has to basically consider it and talk it over with Crystal. The only thing that's holding her back about talking about it, I'm assuming with Crystal in the story's continuity, is there's a lot she wants to tell her, but she doesn't want to endanger her fiance's life or anything. So, long story short, basically she starts to consider maybe potentially taking it, but like I said, she has to talk it over. But she does kid with Duncan on the fact that, hey, if I do take this, you do realize I'll be your boss. I'll be, telling you what to do and stuff. Which Duncan basically says to her, hey, look, I'm cool with that. It would be an honor and a privilege if you do become my boss. So, anyway, the story ends, though, with a very interesting kind of cliffhanger. Now, we know Briella's not going to die or anything because she's basically immortal and all that because of her, shape-shifting abilities. But she does notice that there's this hornet, because basically she disguises herself as a hornet, if you will, when she gets to the Suri Genesis building to kind of meet up with Duncan. And so she forms herself back into one as she's leaving through the air ventilation system. And she notices basically another hornet going past her, but she notices there's something different about it, and she notices it has a gleam to it. So she follows it because she's getting this sense that something doesn't seem right here, because why is there another hornet here? And she goes after it and notices it's mechanical, it's robotic, it's a drone basically, heading in the direction of Duncan and Greta, because Greta is now in the office after Duncan lifted kind of basically the privacy veil that kept the conversation between between Duncan and Briella, mostly between the two of them. But anyway, Briella notices the other hornet, the robotic drone hornet, heading in their direction. So she's able to subdue it basically by changing her form into something more muscular or stronger, But she also notices there's a beeping noise going off, and she sees this is a point of the Hornet's head that got detached. That's, basically making the noise, a beeping noise, which, at the end of the story, Briella pretty much says, "Oh shit," kind of indicating that's probably a bomb. Now, again, I don't think Briella's going to die or anything like that, because she's been through these kind of situations before. But yeah, let's just say it's going to get interesting before we, get into the furry convention part of the story. Basically, like I said previously in these reviews, we're at basically I guess you can, I wouldn't say the storm itself, but we're kind of at the beginning stages of it. It's kind of like that partial storm that you would get. It's kind of a partial storm that you would get before the big, the big storm, the big guy, basically makes their presence known. It's kind of like what's going on in the Northeast right now with the snowstorm they're getting, to the point that the Buffalo Bills and Buffalo Bills now have to play 2 home games, or at least 1 home game in Detroit, and then stay in Detroit for their game against the Lions, the home game against the Browns, and then got to be there for the Lions. So, so basically the snowstorm really put a cork in their plans, but obviously, they gotten some heavy snow before, but that was just a prelude. That was just like the first step, if you will, in the major storm heading their way. Hold on for a sec. Like I said, it's the first step in the major storm, heading their way and everything. But yeah, it's kind of like what we're basically using as an example. That's kind of what we're seeing right now with these past several, I guess you could say, well, at least these past 2, if not going to be 3, shifts/chapters of Metamorphosed to Malleability. But yeah, I think we're going to have one more storm, or one more prelude storm, little taste of what's to come, before we get into, I guess you could say, down-to-earth, filler arc with the fur convention deal with Crystal and Briella, which, again, I do believe is going to lead into more NFSW stuff between them before it's all said and done. And I still stick by the fact that stick by the fact that Crystal's going to get the powers too, eventually. I just get this feeling. And I've got a feeling Elanier's fiance may not be everything he says he is, because I'm thinking this Hornet drone that was subdued by Briella, or at least most of it was being subdued by Briella, might have something to do with him, might have a connection to him or something. We'll have to see. But I still feel there's something up with him that even Elanier doesn't know about. But overall, though, the 240th shift, it's all right. It's pretty good. And can't wait to see what she has next. And I know she's got some other NFSW stories or sections, parts for Metamorphosed to Malleability planned out. And obviously cannot wait to see what those are going to be. So anyway, though, guys, I would highly recommend you check it out. That being Metamorphosed to Malleability, the series. I'll provide the link as usual in the description, as well as I'll provide a link to the recent chapter. And until next time, talk to y'all later. You will find an audio podcast version of this review on the BWS Discussions audio podcast. Check that out. And until then, guys, you know where to find me outside of YouTube. And I will talk to y'all later.